Hello, and welcome to part one of the sample engine. And this part is called the block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first come down to this Part Studio tab, and I'm going to create a name called block. Or actually, let's do it engine block. Okay, so engine block. So the first thing I like to do is I like to make this in the front view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a sketch on this front view. And I'm going to then right click on this and I'm going to hide all these planes. So this is sort of the way I like to start. I want the center of the bottom part of my engine to be right here. So I'm going to start and I'm going to create a line that comes out. So my width of this should be 8 inches wide. So I'm going to go out this way 4, and I'm going to go out this way 4. You could do it a bunch of different ways. You could draw it across and then create dimensions, whatever. So this is going to be the bottom of my engine. I'm also going to add right here a 2-inch circle. And then I'm going to use my trim tool and I'm going to trim all of this off here. And I actually meant to do it the other direction or the other way, so I could do this and make this 4. Because once I did that other circle, it deleted these dimensions. So there is the beginning of my bottom part. Now I'm going to just continue drawing. I'm going to go up 5. I'm going to go over 1. And it's a little bit different with Inventor. You can't type on the fly. You have to click and then type your number. 7.5. This is, let me scoot this out of the way. This is 6. I'm going to bring it right back down. If I come down, I should be able to use my extension line to come across. And then I'm going to go out 1. And then it should close in if you did it correctly. Okay? There is the side of my engine. Now I've done everything, or the side of my block, excuse me. I've done everything except for 2 more extrusions, which should be kind of nice. So now, when I extrude this, I'm going to make my life easier. I'm going to make this 6, except I'm going to go both directions. Okay, so I'm going to go down here where it says blind, and I'm going to have it go symmetric. So now my center, my front view is that plane is dead center, and this origin is in the middle of my object. So I'm going in the positive and negative. This is the, let me get back to this here. If we look at this, this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. So the Z direction here, I'm going positive Z and negative Z. I know that's counterintuitive, but this, if you look up here, this is the front right top view. The front is always X, and oh, they do it different than Inventor. Excuse me. I'm going in the positive Y and negative Y, and that way, when I create my next object, that's the way it works out. That's interesting that it does it differently. So once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and hit check. Okay. I'm going to create a sketch on the top here. And with Inventor, you would have to create construction lines across this way to find the center. With this software, this is kind of neat. You can actually have it extend this way, and you can have it extend this way. Now, since I drew it in the middle, I can just choose my origin and then draw off of that origin, and it'll always stay that way. So this is going to be the hole for the piston, and I want this to be 4 inches. Okay, and you see, like, once I turn this way, it fits perfectly on the top of this engine. So I'm going to extrude it, and I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to say, instead of blind, I'm going to say through all. So it always cuts all the way through if I ever change anything on this engine. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bottom of this engine, okay, and I'm going to create, let's go to sketch here. And I'm going to create a rectangle that goes around the whole thing, because I then am going to offset it in, and I'll show you something kind of neat with offset. So I can take this line, I can flip it inwards. I want to make this I think 0.5. So if I click, well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and go all the way through. I don't know why it didn't. There we go. 0.5. All right. Now, I'm going to cut this in. This side here is 5 inches total. So I'm going to extrude it in. I want this and not this. And I want to cut all of this on the inside. Why is it not selecting that? There we go. And so when I cut this, I'm going to go inward, okay, this way, and I'm going to remove it. This one, I'm going to say, since it's 5 inches all the way up, and I want it to have a 1/2 inch all the way around this whole thing, I'm going to make this 4.5. And then that leaves me, I don't want to do it 5 because then I'll have an opening spot here. If I type in 5, you can see it. It's going to cut a hole right there. So that's why I make it 4.5. And now this is not a realistic engine block, but it is just an example that shows you how all of the mechanisms and the mechanics work. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to go over and I'm going to make this thing right here. I'm going to make it a shade of gray. So I'm going to start down here, and then each one of my parts I'm going to make a different shade of gray so you can tell the difference between the parts. Maybe let's do this a little bit lighter. So we've got 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4 shades of gray. Okay, you can do it whatever you want, but that's how I'm going to start. Okay, now this is my part, and I'm ready to do my next one. Okay.